Let's practice going through the process of adding fractions. But it's not just any fractions. These fractions have unlike denominators, meaning these two numbers in the bottom are not the same. Now this process takes a little bit more energy and time than if they were the same. So if they both had a 5 in the denominator, I would just add across, keep the denominator, and I'm done. So these take a little bit of extra work. Here's our goal. We want to make the denominators into the same value. So I need these two numbers to become numbers that are the same. Now I need to use what is called the least common multiple. I want to pick out a number that I know I can change these into. And I'm going to start by creating two new fractions. And now I'm going to go through that process of finding the least common multiple. So I could take the number 3 and I could write the multiples as 3, 9, 12, 15, and keep going. And if I list out 5 as well, 5, 10, 15, and I can stop. The first number that I notice they both share is 15. And that is typically your trick. You want to get to that least common multiple. So I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to change it into a 15. I'm going to take 5 and change it into a 15. Now you can't ignore the numerator. In fact, there's some math that we need to do to the numerator to make sure this fraction doesn't change. Meaning I can't adjust the fraction so that the answers are different. I need it to be 2/3. I'm now just going to write 2/3 differently. I'm going to write 2/3 with a 15. So what I did is I took 3 and I multiplied it by 5 to get 15. And if I do that to the denominator, I have to do that to this numerator to maintain my fraction of 2/3. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now if you had a calculator, you could check 10 divided by 15 is 2/3. So all I've done is change this into a fraction that I'm now going to work with. And I did the same thing over here. I changed 5 into a 15 by multiplying by 3. And if I multiply the bottom number by 3, I have to multiply the top number by 3 as well. 3 times 3 is 9. Now what I want to do is I want to go back to my original statement. If the denominators were the same, I just add across the top. Well, my denominators are the same. So I'm going to add across the top. 10 plus 9 is 19. Divided by 15. 19/15 is this answer. Now an improper fraction sometimes is an acceptable answer. Sometimes we need a mixed fraction. And a mixed fraction has a whole part and a fraction. So now I need to consider how many times does 15 divide into 19? And that answer is 1. And now I have some leftovers. That leftover is a 4 out of my 15. Improper fraction, mixed fraction. Both are typically acceptable answers. So when you have unlike denominators, when these numbers are different, the only way you can add them is to come up with that least common multiple. Whatever you multiply by, to get that denominator, you must apply it to that numerator. Whatever I multiplied over here, I multiplied to this numerator here. And now we're back to just adding fractions. Across the top, keep the denominator the same, and then simplify.